I wanted to make a video as an open letter to Chris Hedges and to the First World Left in general. Just recently, Chris Hedges wrote an article for Truth Today where he called Kshama Sawant the most dangerous woman in America, essentially because she got a $15 minimum wage passed. And by her, I mean really the city council who also, and the members that also voted along with her. If this was true, then that would make Elizabeth Warren far more dangerous than Kshama Sawant. But think about this. Kshama Sawant is not a threat to the capitalist class, which is essentially what he's claiming. By being the most dangerous woman in America, that's what he's saying, a challenge to the ruling establishment. But if that was true, then wouldn't the government be coming down on her? Wouldn't there be all kinds of, rhetoric from the media, from the mainstream media, and all kinds of accusations from the government, or basically repressive measures in general, coming down on her if she really was a threat to the established order? I would like to remind people that city councilor is not a position that gives a whole hell of a lot of power. In fact, it's very, very minimal. And that her accomplishment of bringing $15 an hour really isn't much of an accomplishment at all, because the Democrats are already on increasing the minimum wage. That's already an issue that they're working on. All she has really managed to do is piggyback off of what liberals are already calling for. So it's really not a socialist achievement if you're just jumping on the liberal bandwagon. And a lot of people, it's like Chris Hedges, are acting like some big achievement has been made. Think about the days, way back in the day. There were massive strikes. There was violence. There was fighting the police. There was occupying buildings. And that was considered the norm. That was what leftists did. By that I mean real leftists, not fake ones. Today, sitting on city council getting a $15 minimum wage off of the backs of a liberal movement is now something that makes you dangerous? I mean, let's get real here. That's a joke. These are some of the things that she has said that proves that she's really just a liberal social democrat. We cannot have illusions. We want to win, but we also know that in 1 year we are not going to vanquish the money machine of the Democratic establishment. The goal of this campaign should be to launch a massive grassroots effort nationwide and to build on it after the election, something that Ralph Nader failed to do. We have to provide a place for people looking for something different, especially the younger generation. Any presidential campaign cannot be run as an end in itself. That will dishearten people. People know what is going to happen in 2016. It is going to be Hillary Clinton or some Republican. Our campaign needs to be a launching pad for something bigger. It needs to be about building a mass movement, a viable, radical alternative. This is what is happening in Greece and Spain. It has to be 100% grassroots, she said. It must be willing to use the platform of presidential campaign and other electoral campaigns to push the message of mass movements. And she stressed it must never accept corporate money. This last condition, she says, has to be non-negotiable. The party, she added, must not bow to the pressure to endorse the Democratic candidates against Republicans, which would completely undermine the independence and ultimately relegate it to the role of enforcer for the Democrats, as the Working Families Party has become. Essentially, her message is, play by the bourgeois' rules. Go by the rules of their economic system and their political system. Well, she's saying that victory is not going to come from doing this. Like, they're not going to get somebody voted in that's going to do anything. So then what's the point here? She's saying to run, but don't run. Spend money on elections, but do it within the framework of capitalism. So what is that supposed to accomplish? I mean, it should not be, completely unknown to people that, well, frankly, corporations do control the electoral system. They're the ones who have the money. So why would you knowingly engage in a system and a process that you know doesn't work or is intended to keep you from winning? She has said previously, about what this grassroots movement is. She said it was a militant, what was it? A militant, non-violent organization. So essentially, the entire thing, right through the rules of the bourgeois and their system. So why are people doing this? Why is she advocating something that we already know doesn't work, and that Chris Hedges himself should already know doesn't work? Because this is all they've got. Revolution is revolution. It's a violent act where one class violently overthrows another. Yet here she is arguing something that she already knows, Chris Hedges already knows, and any Marxist worth their salt already knows doesn't work. So why are they doing this? Because this is all they've got. First world people will not fight. They absolutely will not fight. You would get more violence out of the public against immigrants, like violent separatist groups, like the Bundy Ranch standoff, long before you'd get any cohesive violence out of the left. The left is dead in the first world. It is dead. And I say dead because it is nowhere near what it was. It's not doing anything. And in fact, mostly the Democrat Party is considered to be left. If that's left, the first world is in a lot of trouble. There really is no socialist alternative. Despite what her group's name is, they're not socialists. They would be arguing for revolution, not telling people to go and dig money out of their own pockets to give to their group, to not challenge the system. She has specifically argued radical, militant, nonviolence. What the hell is that anyway? What is radical, militant, nonviolence? That doesn't even make any sense. Because this is what first world people are. Refusing to fight. They won't do it. There won't be a mass movement coming out of this. People aren't going to go to some kind of alternative. This is why Ralph Nader failed. He tried to get people going. He did as much as he humanly possibly could as only one person. There was attempts at this. Zeitgeist is trying to do the same thing, and they're going to fail. This strategy doesn't make any sense. The left in the first world is not radical at all, let alone radical, militant, nonviolent. It's nothing. Marxists in the first world aren't even anything. And frankly, I'll say it right out. Marxists in the first world are a joke. And we are. And there's a very good reason for that. And this is a rightful self-criticism to make. We don't do anything. We don't even have the power to do anything. We are meaningless. Put us up against, any sovereign citizen movement, any kind of right-wing anti-immigrant militia, and we would lose. Almost immediately. It's not that the government likes them and doesn't like us, which is largely true. We don't have anything at all. Because we're not militant. Because we're first world people. We don't want to fight. We don't want to do anything. That's why we have this. That's why everything, all the militancy is on the right, and it's not on the left. Because the left has become so liberal in the first world that essentially it's useless. There is no hard left. I mean, none at all. You can't even say Avakian's RCP is revolutionary. It's not. The only thing they're good at is making money. And that's not an attack. That's actually a very essential thing if you want to be a party. But think about that. Avakian's RCP is the one that has the greatest potential in America to be revolutionary, and it's not revolutionary at all. That's a scary thought. I mean, there's a couple of groups around that claim to be revolutionary. Some of them even, so far as ridiculous as to claim they have a guerrilla base area in their college campus. I mean, that's a joke. It really is. And what's worse is that's where our expectations are. They really believe that their college campus is a guerrilla base area. They legitimately believe that. Even the RCP Canada claims that handing out leaflets and like yelling on street corners in what are supposed to be protests are a stage of people's war. They literally don't know what people's war is. That's not people's war. A guerrilla base area is not your college campus, nor is it a trailer in Texas as they just recently displayed. That would be the NCP, the New York Maoists, not the RCP Canada. This is where our level of expectation is. Raising the minimum wage, which is already a liberal tactic, is considered a victory. Setting up a guerrilla base in your college is considered an achievement that doesn't even actually exist. That's how bad we suck. That's how awful the left is, that the most innocuous nothing is considered to be an achievement. This is how terrible we've gotten. This is our level of expectation. This is what's considered being radical. That's a joke, and we are a joke for going along with it. If that's radical action, we don't ever stand any chance of taking any power in the first world, which I would actually argue that we don't. But just look at that. That is what's considered radical. That's what's considered an accomplishment. You realize that there's people like in these Facebook groups that go around talking like how they're gonna, that this is what they're doing, and that they're gonna go show solidarity to the Naxals in India. If you went and did that, they would abduct you and hold you for ransom. These people turn around and they go on like identity politics trips, chanting about identity politics, and then turn around and say, you know, we're with you, third world. The third world looks at us like we're idiots. And they absolutely should, because that's exactly what we're behaving like. Hey, we got the minimum wage increase. We're really revolutionary just like you. And actual guerrillas in third world are turning around and looking at us like morons. And they should. So what's the point of me saying all this? Chris Hedges, you're stuck in a very old left mentality. We want to bring back the old left that used to exist. That's not going to work. The old left that used to exist didn't work. It didn't work then. It's not going to work now. Something new has to happen. Something new has to be created. Marxism is the science of revolution and social change. Repeating the past for something that already didn't work is not science. Creating something new that should work is what science is. Because right now, the first world is goddamn awful. If you like this video and you'd like to see more of them, then head over to my Patreon page and show your support. Or you can go to the MRN bookstore and check out some of the latest books available. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and share on various social media.